I'm the 5 times world mind mapping champion, and joining me today is the 8 times memory champion, Dominic O'Brien, sharing with us some stories of his life and memory. So, Dominic, I remember once reading that you had memorized 7,500 cards of the Trivial Pursuit questions. Can you tell me a little bit about, one, why, and two, how did you manage to do that?
Yes. So back in the early 90s, I was approached by the makers of the game Trivial Pursuit to memorize their latest edition. Now, I got somebody lent me the 3rd Genesis edition, and I had about 6 weeks to prepare for this. And the Genesis edition had 6,000 questions in it. So every day for about an hour and a half, I would memorize maybe a couple of hundred questions from these cards and answers, obviously. And there was a system of reviewing as well. At the end of the 6 weeks, I told the makers, well, I've done it, I've memorized the game. And said, oh no, we didn't want you to memorize that one. We brought out a new one, a much smaller version, which got 1,500 questions in it. So I'd spent all this time, 6 weeks, memorizing these 6,000 questions. Anyway, it didn't go to waste. And in fact, it made it easier, having had the experience of 6,000, to do the 1,500, which I think I did in about a week, something like that. And then I started doing a series of interviews, TV shows. And then one day they took me to Hammer's toy shop, and this was a promotion in the Evening Standard, where they said, come and test the memory man. If he gets one question wrong out of 7,500 questions, you win £50. If he gets a second question wrong, you win £100. A third one, you could have a chance of winning £5,000. Now, this caused quite a bit of interest. And I don't know whether you've ever been to Hammer's toy shop, but we were out on the top floor, and we had a queue of people snaking down the stairs all the way down into the street, queuing up for their very easy 5,000 quid, or so they thought. So we had an insurance guy there, somebody from the game itself, my manager was there, quite a few people, TV cameras, all that sort of thing. And I remember there was this queue, and there was one guy kept looking around all the time. And I thought, there's something not quite right about him. So I thought there's going to be a bit of an incident here. So he came up to the front. He said, right, before I ask Mr. O'Brien one of these questions, before I take a card out of the box, I want his briefcase removed, because I had a briefcase next to me. I said, I want it taken to the other side of the room, because he obviously thought there was a little man in there or some sort of gadget that was feeding me the answers. So they removed my briefcase, took me to the other side of the room. And I remember the card that he took out. The question was, it was about sport. He said, how old was Anna Kournikova when she was described as the greatest ever tennis prodigy? Now, almost before he got to the end of the question, I knew the answer. So I said 10 straight away. Of course, I was right. He looked away and he thought, oh, he said, I don't believe what's going on. I think this is a fix. And he slammed the card down and walked off. Now, you and I know how this is possible because we know the memory techniques. So what I was doing, I was using memory palaces. And for that particular one, my sister, who lives in Hertfordshire, has got her own tennis court there. Her name is Annie. So that was the connection with Anna Kournikova. And next to the tennis court, I imagine seeing Dudley Moore. Why Dudley Moore? Because he was in the film called 10. So that's how I connected Anna Kournikova with the answer 10. So I did that with the other 7,499 questions. Each question had its own unique location somewhere in the world. There was a guy called Rob Fulton. He's known as Rob the Coach Fulton, and he became Australia's first Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And he got all the questions right, obviously won his million. And then they interviewed him in his apartment, and he was showing some books, and one of them was a book I wrote called How to Remember Facts and Figures. So he was using very similar techniques, obviously, that I was using to memorize Trivial Pursuit questions to build up his general knowledge. And I've been trying to get hold of his contact details ever since to try and get some commission from him. They're only joking, but you know, if I can do it, I will say other people can do it too. And obviously Rob used that to great effect to win $1 million.
It just shows you never know who's in the audience, who's reading your books, and who indeed might be watching these videos. Thanks, Dominic.